You're listening to the Reluctant Adult Podcast. If you like what you're hearing, follow us on social media and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This is the way.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a million.
This week from the internet, Fallout fans are learning what Righteous Gemstone fans already knew. Walton Goggins is one Ghoul character. Plus, retro video games are having the best week ever as Apple's App Store unleashes its first emulator for iPhone users. And this McDonald's leak could spoil more than your appetite. Did a Captain America Happy Meal promotion just give away the movie's big twist? Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers. It's the Reluctant Adult Podcast.
Don't you be a dummy! Buckle your safety belt! Think, Billy. It's morphin' time!
Welcome to another episode of the Reluctant Adult Podcast. My name is Paul, and I am joined, as always, by the man who thinks that TikTok should be banned from every Kesha playlist, Bill!
Hi, everyone. That's right. Also, if I might add, I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately.
That is a Gavin DeGraw lyric.
It is a Gavin DeGraw lyric.
I saw him this Saturday.
Secretly.
At
Yes.
SeaWorld. SeaWorld
Yes.
has concerts. I guess all of the theme parks have, like, Universal famously does like a Mardi Gras thing, and they have artists come.
I feel like you secretly were like, you weren't intending on going, but you like made it a secret that you were going.
Well, so we are pass holders, so it was no like extra expense to us. So I get the emails, and my wife is a fan from back in the day. Now, cards on the table. I was confused about who this gentleman was. I thought he was a country act, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And then I realized that I was thinking of Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
Not McGraw, not DeGraw. So I was like,
Gavin.
This is kind of, it's Southern, but I don't really feel like, But then, I know those songs. We know those songs from back in the day.
My mother met him. She met him.
Yeah.
At the local Worcester radio station. He performed a couple songs back in the day.
He still got the pipes. He puts
good.
on a hell of a show. We were expecting that if you've ever been to the Epcot Eat to the Beat, I think it's called, they have the artists come out, and I think they get some bigger names, or like they're all like names from yesteryear, like Hanson and like Sugar Ray. But you get the older fans to come out because it's all from your childhood.
Yeah, of course.
And they do a few tunes. Gavin DeGraw, he did 90 minutes. A 90-minute show. It was like a full concert. It was great.
That's quite the playlist there.
He hit all the hits.
Good.
He had some stories. They were riffing. He would just be like, "Hey, remember this song?" And the band would play it, and he would sing it.
Did he do any covers?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He would just do these other songs that weren't his.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always like when I can always appreciate that when artists
I was very impressed. He was playing the piano backwards at one point. He got up and he was in front of it, and then he reached over and was playing. And I was like, just sit down. Why you gotta make it so complicated?
Oh.
So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So
and Avril showed up.
Who?
I said, why you got to make it so complicated? And then I said, well, then Avril Lavigne showed up.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
No, I can't.
Is she still married to the guy from Nickelback?
Is that a thing?
Look at this photograph. No, she's not my wife. My wife, producer, says she was at one point.
Oh, okay. I wish I had a photograph. I don't.
I'll put one on here. I'll put one up there.
Look at this thing of milk.
What is? All right. Well, listen. You showed it. Let's talk about it.
I just want to drink it because I have a
Blue
cough.
milk.
So
Okay.
this was announced. This isn't new. Well, it's new. I bought it yesterday.
Chug.
Right? We'll see how much I can get through the whole show.
It's still milk, though, right? Like,
It's still milk.
human
So,
body can only absorb so much dairy.
This was announced, I think, maybe a month and a half ago. I think it was released on April 17th.
Okay.
So it's been in the we were shopping at Walmart yesterday, and
Yeah.
I happened to look in one of the coffin cases. I saw the blue, and I said, "There's the Star Wars blue milk."
There it is.
So I am going to live sample it.
Oh, God.
in front of everyone.
Right from the jug.
No, I brought a glass.
Oh, okay. I have a little...
The kids
bug
want to try
on-
it too, so
Oh, okay. You don't want to share germs.
get my pour going.
looks thick.
That's a healthy.
It
That's a
looks
healthy
as thick
pour.
as my Pokemon Go character looks now.
I wish I had one of Aunt Baru's cups.
Oh,
So-
are they special?
Nah, I think they were just like plastic tumblers, if I had to guess.
That,
So
like-
this says Star Wars, inspired by Star Wars Galaxy's Edge blue milk. So I have heard that it does not taste the same as whatever they're
Inspired
making down
by.
there.
Inspired by...
Pour the power of protein. Wow.
It's protein.
And there's
milk
a
just... Is milk...
QR code.
protein is always part of it? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right.
Blue colored vanilla low fat milk with other natural flavors.
Vanilla. It's not
I
milk
wonder what the
flavored.
natural flavors are. No, it's vanilla flavored.
Drink
All
it.
right.
Here it goes.
It is thick. It is
down
thick.
down the gullet. So delicious. It didn't leave a mustache. I'm disappointed.
No. My son all night tonight was like drinking his milk, and he'd be like, "Do I have a mustache? Like Dad?" It's like, no. Yes, but no.
Yes, but no.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Poor Luke. That's all he got. Is it better than regular milk? Regular white milk? Would you drink that over that?
No, I wouldn't.
No, you would take regular.
I don't like the vanilla taste to it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Why can't milk just be milk? Just give us the
Milk
liquid
usually
that
is
comes
milk.
out of cows' udders. Why you gotta fancy it up? It's already fancy enough.
It's got like a chalky taste to it.
Oh, you lost
Probably-
me. That's the way we have protein.
Probably the sand. It's probably this. Yes,
sand.
exactly. It's the
That's why
sand they make. The
Anakin hates
Tatooine
sand.
sand.
It gets in all the blue milk. Like, ugh. Well, I'm thoroughly disgusted. So let's move on.
Did they
that off
have
the
blue
list.
milk in Phantom Menace? I feel like they missed an opportunity.
That was
golden
the one
opportunity.
fan service, the one callback that they missed because everything else was interconnected. Yeah.
Everything else was in there except the blue milk.
I don't know.
Potentially, I don't know. Shmi could have been doing it up.
Shmi. What a name.
All right, on to the show.
Well, you mentioned Star Wars and the prequels. So there is this Black Series set that includes R5D4,
Right.
2 pit droids, and then BD-72, which is what? Is that the little droids that are at the theme park now that hop around?
They have those droids at the theme park. They made their debut on, what was it, Fallen Order, the video game?
Oh, yeah. He's like, he
that
sits on
kid
his
from
shoulder.
Shameless. Yeah, he's like a
That's
little
right.
parrot buddy.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay.
Yeah,
So this set is like a lot of money. Like $50,
How much
right?
is it?
Isn't that
That's a lot of money.
That's like, it's way too much for what it is.
Sure.
That's what people
And
are
it's a
complaining
Target
about.
exclusive?
Yes.
I
Yes,
feel
it
like
is.
it's a Target. Let's just go
No,
with the
that's
it's
what
a
it
Target
says.
exclusive.
That's what the tweet
I feel
from
like-
Eternia says.
Let me tell you something. People
All
shouldn't
right.
complain about an exclusive being too much money because inevitably
Well, sure.
it's going to get marked down. You play the waiting game. You just don't get it
Yeah.
all at once. You know?
Yeah. That's the
Just
price
wait.
if you want it immediately.
Right.
But if you wait.
Wait.
For sale, a clearance,
Yep. Target's got
Inevitably-
plenty of sales.
Inevitably,
Inevitably, you're going to
it
pay
would be.
10, $15 for this. And then
Wow.
you're happy.
what percentage is that if it starts at 50?
75?
It gets that. Well, they don't do 75 anymore, right? They just go to 70.
Oh, do they just go to 70?
I
Okay.
feel like. So if it was
Okay.
70, that would be, you'd save $30. So then,
Yeah.
so 15. So like you could hope to pay 15, and I think that's a good price for that set.
That's fair.
I'd pay 15.
I'd do it.
I'd pay $1 for that set. Yeah. Speaking of things costing money, I sent you this picture of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Super 7 Chef Michelangelo. Now, I don't know. I mean, Super 7's the first company I've seen advertising for Comic-Con this year. I had to take a step back and be like, wait a minute, is this next year? But no, we haven't even hit summer yet. So like everything's
Right.
about to start popping up for these exclusives. So Michelangelo, standard Michelangelo, from what we can tell, comes with an alternate head with a tongue sticking out. I don't know if that's from the Sewer Surfer Michelangelo, maybe.
It's alleged that it is, yes.
Okay, I have that figure, so
It's a great figure.
the skin tone, I don't know if this matches like the skin tone they've used for Michelangelo all throughout. It looks a little different to me. More like the toy, maybe? But I guess they all are supposed to be like the toy. But he comes with a pizza box, at least 4 slices of pizza, maybe more, because it's shown with some in there. And then is the packaging a pizza box, or is that just showing what the pizza box that he comes with looks like closed?
I think the packaging has to be a pizza box.
You think it's a pizza box? Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's got a chef's hat and an apron, which
He does.
are I can't tell from this if they are hard goods or soft goods. I think I want to say they're hard goods.
Is it Moe's apron? Like all the leftover
No,
Moe's
it's
aprons
not.
put
No,
on
it's
this, like
not.
bleached white? Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a little pocket, in the front to catch the toppings, I guess. Yeah. So the thing with this is they want how much? $60? Something like way too much. Is that what I said? Way more than it should be at this point. But it's an exclusive Comic-Con. So they're trying to pick up the people that are just walking around the floor being like, oh, I remember Ninja Turtles. That's fun.
Right. I like pizza.
I like
told
pizza.
you, I think they should have put some pizza coupons in there to kind of soften the blow of that cost.
For like Pizza Hut or something.
Yeah.
Just like get them out of the flyer that comes in the mail.
Right.
Something. Or like add something to the sculpt. I mean, I guess that they're just reusing the sculpt. I don't know. It's fine. Do you think there's like a lot of completists at this point with these lines? It's just
For this line, I mean,
Yeah.
what's been... I feel like there has to be, because I think a lot of people waited, or the ones that didn't wait picked them up, but also like a lot of people got in when they were marked down.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I don't know. It just feels uninspired to me.
No, it's. I mean, it is what an exclusive should be. Like you shouldn't feel like obligated to buy it. If you miss it, you miss it. It's okay.
That's fair. But they only get so many chances to do variants, so
Right.
it's just I feel like there could have been more to it. But I don't even. The other one, they got a Zartan. What's different about him? Comes with a cloak. Is that different?
Is this for Super 7?
Yeah, it's a Super 7
Oh.
Ultimate Zartan.
Oh, I
Jungle
figured that
Trap
G.I. Joe line was
Zartan.
dead.
Yeah, I feel like it's outside of exclusives.
Yeah.
And then Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't even know they were doing Dungeons and Dragons.
They announced it. I don't know if I saw anything.
It's not out
for
yet.
it.
Well, you can get Invisible Sheila the Thief, and she is just clear plastic. So if you enjoy that.
Nah. I don't like that look.
Thundercats, Ghost Groon, another sort of like translucent looking figure.
So lots of stuff from Super 7 all of a sudden.
Well, 4
For
figures
exclusives.
for their exclusives. Nothing for Power Rangers. And last year they did the Black and Gold Dragon Zord. Yeah, they did the Dragon Zord. The Black and Gold Megazord already slated for one of the normal releases. So instead of doing an exclusive with that, they just put it in the normal line, which is interesting. So I don't know if this is it. We'll probably get some reaction figures, if nothing else. They always like to do those. Those seem pretty easy for them. Still waiting for that TMNT 2003 announcement. Supposed to be this month, so maybe this week we'll see. I'm very curious to see what those look like.
Speaking of the reaction figures, and one of our TikTok commenters mentioned that it was Drunk Pam from
Yes.
the Dundies.
That's
and looking
right.
at the figure, I definitely can see it.
The white-
so we're
the
still
white
not getting
shoes,
like a
yeah.
regular Pam.
You think like the face,
that line.
she looks drunk in the face?
She's got the eyes that just look a little sunken.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I'm wholeheartedly in agreement with that.
Oh, and she comes with the Dundee too, so that makes sense.
And she comes with the Dundee, so
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a variant of Pam. So it's just all variants. So thank you.
I mean, it's not
For
like they're
clarifying.
cartoon characters where they wear the same outfit every episode, but
No, it's true. But
these are. I'll take drunk Pam over Dwight with the face guard on him. Doesn't even.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like that is too obstructive to even display that as a Dwight figure. Did you see that they cast 2 people for what's either going to be the Office revival or just a similar show about an office?
I have, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and it's
So
like
you have,
good people. Like
it's the gentleman that played Admiral Hux or General Hux in
Donald Gleason. Yep.
Is that how you pronounce it? I was.
It is. Yes,
cautiously
he's Irish.
Skipping away from it. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. My wife is a big fan, so I'm familiar with him. And then the woman from that show about the rich people. What is it called? White Lotus. Yeah, she was the.
Oh.
She was like the head of the hotel in the previous season. So legit actors, although not American actors. But I guess we don't have any good American actors anymore that do like.
They're all
everyone's an import at this point. Donald was recently in that series with Michael Scott, Steve Carell, thank you, called The Patient, where he was crazy. Donald was. And he had Steve Carell locked up in his basement Steve was a therapist on the show, and he was like trying to get him because Donald was killing people and he didn't want to kill people. So he was like, I need your help. Please help me. I'm going to lock you up down here until I'm cured or I kill you.
Intervention.
I don't remember how it ended. He did kill him. Okay. Spoiler alert. But there was
who?
Donald killed Steve Carell. So,
my!
It was not a happy ending, at least for Steve Carell. But Steve Carell his character had this whole sort of backstory where his life was a little bit unhappy because of his relationship with his kid. So there was like a dream sequence or something where they made up.
Yeah.
So for like a moment you thought, everything was okay, but no, it was not. It was like a flash forward. Which, speaking of flash forwards, big surprise dropped this weekend, and that was the name of the episode, Surprise. Bluey, we thought we were done. We had our emotional high and emotional low, and then this week they dropped an episode that flashes forward to adult Bluey. And we have
the second time.
Oh, is this the second time they've done that?
I believe it is the second time that they've flashed forward, but I believe Bluey was a teenager.
Okay, so this is full-grown adult. Now,
this is adult Bluey.
It's not confirmed. It was left very open-ended. There is a pup shown wearing the same play gear that Bluey was wearing earlier in the episode.
Right.
So people are speculating that this is Bluey's child, and they want to know with whom this child was created.
Get this kid on Maury.
Do you have a theory? There are two.
There are two
leading suspects.
Yes, and I disagree with both. So.
Oh, okay. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't have thoughts. I'm in the camp where it could be someone we haven't seen yet. Like, it doesn't have to be someone from her childhood.
Well, I think that's a very fair point, but that's also not how TV works. So
it is not how TV
works. We
works.
have to pick somebody from the pool of characters that we already know.
Then if I was to pick from the pool, I'd be Team Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, okay. Mackenzie now.
Team Jean-Luc.
Mackenzie is a black and white sheepdog, or not sheepdog, like Australian shepherd, with a floppy ear. And then
floppy ear.
Jean-Luc is just blue. He's like the same color blue throughout.
Right. So
now,
like
the pup, yeah, right. So the pup, I thought from the video I was watching was black and white, but there's like official
there's some purple.
Okay, so there's some official images out there, and it's more of like a blue purple.
Yes.
So that you don't know. You just don't know.
Who knows?
But I saw a lot of Team Mackenzie in the comments, but then people were making some very strong points for Jean-Luc. But there be other people being like, why are we shipping these characters that are 7 years old? Like, they had a whole life to live. They could have met someone else.
Oh, they could have, of course.
Mm-hmm. So Bingo is not shown, although we see her in a digital photograph that's hung up by the door.
It's a digital photograph?
Because it changes. There's 3
It does.
images.
I thought that was an animation error. I got confused.
Oh, really? You thought it was like
and I said,
changing every time?
What is this? What's going on here?
What's the Stonehenge? Yeah. So there's like a dog version of Stonehenge, and she's there. So some people are speculating that she became an archaeologist.
Okay.
And some people are like, maybe she's just traveling. We don't know.
Maybe she's just traveling.
She's just traveling. I don't know why you're trying to pigeonhole these characters.
They're just creating their own narratives, I think. I feel like there was a flash forward. I feel partially correct in my assumption last week. Mm-hmm. So props to me.
Well,
Yay.
the big question now is this feels more final because they even reference the dad selling the house and he's like, oh, I got to bring that up again. This feels like the end. Like, do they come back and do more stories now?
I don't. So each season, and that's the other thing too, because you could look at last week's as like 3 or 4 episodes altogether. But Bluey itself, the series is 50 episodes per season.
Damn.
So this episode was, but they're only 7 minutes long.
Well, right, that's the trade-off. Yeah.
So this was episode 50. So we're 150 episodes in. I feel like that's a decent run.
Sure. Yeah. People love Bluey. You're leaving money on the
Bluey.
table. People want Bluey in the Disney parks.
I feel like my flash forward to a couple more years would be more make more sense as opposed to having adult Bluey and then her kid, because then we're just watching the same show over again.
Well, that's interesting. So there is a train of thought that maybe the show will pick up with Bluey being the age of the parents and the parents' grandparents, and then you just have a new set of young kids. But I think people like Bluey. We don't want to have new young children. It's not like when the Rugrats tried to do that and they had new babies.
Oh my,
Rugrats New Class or whatever.
The all grown up episodes.
All grown up. Like, well, I guess that is what we're suggesting here is we have them be a little older, but that didn't work out so well. So maybe that's not a good idea. No,
it's like when Doug went over to ABC and we were like, what?
Someday we have to really delve into Doug because there's so much about Doug. Because Doug, I remember liking it, watching it, but what even was it? It was just a story about like this kid in school, and he was
an awkward kid.
He's just awkward. He had a lot of anxiety. He like didn't want to eat Brussels sprouts, liver and onions. That's what it was. And he got invited to the dinner party, and Patty said that she was going to serve it, and he was concerned the whole week. And then she's like, "Oh, I know. Remember you said you hated them. That was just a joke." And he's like, I wasted my whole week worrying about it.
Right? Yeah, it was his whole week. Everything revolved around him worrying about everything.
Yeah.
Poor Doug.
That would be, I don't know. Would you buy Doug toys? Are they interesting enough?
Like if Super 7 were to do super articulated Ultimate Doug figures, maybe.
I almost feel this would be more of like a Mondo thing, like how Mondo's doing
Mondo.
Daria. Yeah. I could see like interchangeable arms instead of having.
Yeah, maybe they could send you some samples.
It's a sore subject, Bill. Please don't.
I'm sorry.
We don't need to talk about that. Still not.
I'm still waiting to hear. Still waiting to see.
Well, I'm still waiting too. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there, Mondo.
Yeah, check out those shady neighbors that.
I don't. Yeah, maybe it got picked up. I was like, did I put my address correct in the message? Right. I'm pretty sure I did. haven't heard from our friends at Mondo lately. Something happened. Still working there. Seeing the post, but that's okay.
So they had some Daria stuff. I remember
Daria and her friend.
Yes.
Daria was interesting because it was a spin-off from Beavis and Butthead.
Right.
But, like, could not be more different.
It was very tame. Like, I remember coming home from school and watching it and being like, oh, it's not anything terrible. Not like Beavis and Butthead.
Well, it's not anything like... It was at a time when you didn't have a lot of female-centric leads in your cartoons.
Yeah.
And this was Daria's story. It was a bold move, I think, to do it. And I don't remember watching it. Like, I can't really remember any of the stories, but I think I watched it.
Yeah, I definitely remember watching Daria when I came home from either middle school or high school.
Yeah. Did Beavis and Butthead ever show up?
Fetching. In that Someone else will tell us that they did, but I don't have any recollection.
Because the animation was different.
Much different. Yes.
Okay, it was much different. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
I feel like it was a little crisper.
It was different enough that they would have to redesign Beavis and Butthead, and I feel like that would be something we would have remembered.
Yes.
Did we talk about Beavis and Butthead being on SNL a couple weeks ago?
No, because we recorded the day
right.
that
it was
happened.
that night.
Yes.
So they did a skit where it was like an expert was on a panel talking about AI, and there was an audience, a live audience behind them, and there was just a person in the audience and it was Ryan Gosling. He was the host that week, and he just looked like Butthead. He had the blonde pompadour and the shirt. He was exactly like Butthead, but the joke was he didn't know that he looked like Butthead. He was not familiar with that character. And then the host of the show would turn around, ask him to leave, and she broke. Like, she laughed. She couldn't control herself.
Right, that was funny.
That was funny, yeah. Like, people don't like it when Jimmy Fallon would break on the show because he did it for everything. But this was legitimately funny because it was funny. And we were like, okay, we understand. And then a character came on, and they were just like Beavis, and they had the the lip up and everything. But he was like, "Oh, I'm not familiar." And I'm like, "I'm not familiar with that character. I live a very busy life." And then they sat them next to each other. It was just very good, and it was definitely one of the most viral SNL clips in a long time because everybody enjoyed it and shared it. So Beavis and Butthead having a little bit of a moment. So it was a good timing to introduce a Daria product to sort of ride that wave. And the last I saw, the exclusive version of that set was close to selling out. So,
oh wow,
Mondo has found a niche here with these. I mean, these aren't 12 inches. I think these were 8 inches, so larger, or larger than traditional action figures, but smaller than their X-Men and their Masters of the Universe. So kind of just like their own thing. Like, these are just like nobody thought they would buy these to put in scale with anything else. They're just like, we're just looking for fans of Daria who have never really had product of Daria.
Of course. That makes sense.
I think so. And it's sold as a set with Daria and Jane. And you get...
that was the friend.
Different heads. You get some arms where their arms are like intertwined, so like walking next to each other. Just some fun stuff. So if you like Daria, you've waited a long time for some collectibles. So here you go. And only $125 for the set, so that's pretty good, actually.
Not terrible.
Not terrible at all. While we're talking about cartoons, should we talk about X-Men 97 this week's episode?
We can. Yeah, right. Let's dive in.
So this was episode 6. Episode 5 melted everyone's face off. It was everything we've always wanted X-Men to be. And this week was, you had to sort of take a step back. You couldn't have as much excitement.
Always.
But this
like
week,
you said, with Bluey's storytelling, this is exactly how you tell the story. You have the punch, and then you have the back. You got it. Now
this is a little more plot because we were introduced to a very much alive Professor X.
Yes.
Who is living up in space with the bird people.
They were birds. I had no idea growing up.
The whole time they were birds.
Now, I mean, full disclosure, most of my X-Men knowledge and everything else doesn't come from the comics. It comes entirely from that cartoon.
But like the fact now that we know that we're talking about the Shi'ar Empire, is that how you say it?
Yes, the Shi'ar.
The fact that they are like avian influenced, it doesn't like change anything about their character.
I mean, the writing on the wall was they had a character called Deathbird, and I didn't pick up on that.
Fair enough. I think it's funny that their helmets are like triangles, and when they take their helmets off, their hair stays in that shape.
They've got plumage
because it's not hair; it's feathers. So like feathers just sort of spring back up. So that was like And then Professor X has an exosuit that allows him to walk now. And the reason that they have this exosuit technology is because they literally have bird bones. They have hollow, thin bones. So they would be just destroyed in a fight if they didn't have this technology.
That's true.
And they don't dream. Their Wikipedia, I recommend their Wikipedia on the Shi'ar Empire. Go check that out.
Some informative stuff. So
information.
So space politics, bird politics.
Bird politics. Did you catch the line Milky Way Ghetto?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I did not catch it, but a video popped up on my TikTok for you page about this gentleman who made an account for his friend, and his friend purportedly was contacted by two of the writers for X-Men 97 because the writers allegedly were not familiar with X-Men the animated series, and this friend was. How he knew that, or how the writers knew of this guy, I do not know. But the story goes that he pitched a lot of the story that has ended up in X-Men 97. And then when the showrunner, the gentleman who's no longer part of the show, found out that the writers were going to this third party to get this information, he's like, I don't need these writers. I'm just going to go get this guy. And when the writers found out that their jobs were now in jeopardy, some other things happened. And the gentleman who was providing all the information has allegedly been blacklisted. So all these shenanigans, all this drama going on, allegedly. We don't actually know. But we do know that one man was fired by Disney. So something happened. But that story will continue to unfold as the weeks go on. But hopefully it does not detract from how good this series has been.
Yes. Well, I mean, it shouldn't detract from at least the first and second season because they're complete.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if the news starts to be all about this drama behind the scenes, and like
it could impact
instead
it
of talking about how good the show is, because sometimes networks will shelve a problematic show even if it's good, even if it has an audience. They'd rather not deal with the negative press. So that might be why Disney was like, let's just part ways now so that this doesn't continue. But we don't know. But maybe we'll find out more now that this gentleman has a Twitter account, or I should say a TikTok account, while TikTok is still allowed to be in the App Store. And speaking of the App Store, big news this week on the Apple App Store, and we're going to talk about that in 1 second right after these messages. We both grew up in the 80s and 90s, and this was when video games really started to become household things. Like, we had the original Nintendo and Mario and Sonic, and that was a big part of our lives. And I feel like, for me at least, video games got too complicated. And at some point,
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
I sort of pieced out, but I still fondly remember playing these. I think for me, gaming peaked with Mario 64. Because it was open world, it was 3D, you could move around, but you were still Mario. It wasn't overly complicated.
Right.
So, like, when I got the Wii and you could download games from the past, the first thing I downloaded was that original Mario 64. I love it. I'll play that over anything else. So I've always loved the older games. And this week, the App Store, the Apple App Store, added their first emulator. Now, an emulator allows you to play older games, but the trick is the emulator is legal. You can download the emulator, but the way you get the games is not necessarily as legal. So if you own the game, this is where it sort of breaks down. If you own the game, you could legally emulate it. So we owned a lot of these games. But I don't know, like, you're downloading it from a third-party website. I don't know if they are committing a crime. It's very, very unclear. It's some gray area. Maybe this is what Congress will go after next once they take down TikTok. They want to take away everything we love. But this week, because this was the first time that you could just get an emulator from the App Store, it was easy. And all you do is you download the emulator, and then you download the games from your website of choice, and you add the games, and you just play the game. There's nothing else to it. It's so simple. So I've been playing Mario 64, all of the old wrestling games, anything you want. Pretty much every game that has ever existed is on there.
You'll have
so
to
you
show
can play.
Me this.
Okay, you could. It's been all over the feeds. Everyone is talking about this. It's the #1 download or close to it. If you search the name of the emulator is Delta. If you search for Delta, this app appears above the the airplane company.
Yeah.
Like more people are searching for Delta Emulator than Delta Air. So I've just been enjoying, and then there's this secondary level to it where you can now play video games on your phone using an actual video game controller. Like you don't have to just use your phone, and you can cast it to your TV. So it's exactly like it was before. You're just playing it on your TV with a controller. Like it's the future. The future is the past, and the past is now.
Wow.
It's so funny that this is more exciting to a large group of people than the newest video game.
That is exciting.
It is exciting.
That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun because, yeah.
I just love picking it up, and there's no load times. Like everything loads immediately.
Oh wow! I like that at least from what you've shown me and what I've seen, the remote is on the screen of the phone.
Right, so it's sort of set up like a Game Boy where the control is below, or if you rotate your phone, it's on the sides, and I actually find that much easier to use. But then they sell these third-party controllers where you can put the phone between the two handles, so it looks just like a Nintendo Switch, so you can play it that way too. Like there's all these companies out there making products that make it easier for you to play video games.
That is exciting because there's some stuff that's just like too difficult to get your hands on,
right?
And like work like backwards compatibility and everything like that. Like with those old NES games and things like that.
That's the thing. It just works. You just download it, you play it, you play it for as long as you want. You can save your progress within the emulator. There's just an option where you save, and then you can have different save points, and then you just restart from there. It's really fantastic. I think I was watching one video that says that the video game market didn't think that people would care enough about old video games, and that this is sort of disproving that. And it'll be very interesting to see what that causes to happen to the market. Like, will we see a lot of movement towards bringing these titles back in different ways, or is it too late now? People know they can just get them for free. And, you don't have to be super savvy to do it, but you do have to have somebody to give you the website to get them, because that's not part of it. You can get the emulator, but you still need the games. And there is some risk to that. What was that?
I said I'm going to try to find Monster Party. You ever play Monster Party for the NES?
For the NES Monster Party?
Oh, it was a lot
I remember
of fun.
Paperboy.
No, Monster Party was just a riot.
Toe Jam and Earl. What's the one where you were a kid and you had like a Super Soaker? That might have been Super Nintendo.
That was Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
It's funny looking back through the games because they're like the ones that pop out, like the Marios and everything. But then like after that, there's not like any like ones that I'm like, oh, I really like this game.
Yeah.
It's like usually like the ones that everyone else liked too. But still very cool. You could also get...
My daughter's quickly finding... She has the Switch, and the library is very good about getting Switch games in.
That's so cool. I wish ours did that.
But there's a lot of Switch games that just aren't that great.
Yeah.
So she'll get them, and then, before it was like a reading proficiency thing, but now that she can read much better... Mm-hmm. She can kind of keep up with some of those games, but a lot of them are just kind of like, was it a Cocomelon game she saw the other day? And she was like, why the heck's there a Cocomelon game? What is this? What kid is playing Cocomelon and has a Switch, Dad? I'm like, I don't know.
My kid really likes Kirby, and he's always asking me to get the next Kirby. But the thing with the Switch games is they don't discount them after a certain amount of time like they used to with other games.
I remember that when they hit
they would
a million milestone.
Exactly.
Yes.
They would become cheaper, but that's not the case.
They go to
if anything,
40
they're going up.
bucks.
I know. I don't get it.
Oh man.
We're gonna have to emulate all this shit.
I did like that. Yes.
So, going from one video game to another, did you ever play Fallout?
I played Fallout 4.
You did? Okay.
Yes.
So what made you play that?
What made me play Fallout 4? I honestly don't know. Mm-hmm. I think I saw enough marketing for it where I was like, oh, this looks like it could be fun. or it was gifted to me. I don't know what it was.
You
it
just
was
play it on
something.
the computer? How do you play it?
I think I played it on the PS4 at the time.
Is it
I never
puzzles
got into
or is it a
PC.
first-person shooter? Like, what is the game
I
like?
believe it's a little bit of everything, and then like adaptive gameplay, and you can, you kind of set the story yourself. You can upgrade yourself. It's one of those games where it's like very complicated, but like as you do things, you just keep upgrading.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now we have this Prime show, Fallout.
Yep.
Have you seen any of this?
I have been watching it. Yeah.
You've been watching it. Great. What episode are you up to?
Yes.
What episode are you up to?
I try to do at least one a night. If I fall asleep, I'll go back and I'll watch the half that I miss.
Okay.
I believe I'm up to episode 6.
Okay, I think that's right where we are too.
Yeah.
So I love this show. I
That was a
wasn't
lot of
sure.
fun.
I've not played any of the Fallout. The only thing I know is the thing on the arm, the Pip-Boy. I've seen that.
Right.
And the little bobblehead man. Like I've always seen that. But I was like, I have no idea what this is. But like almost immediately, the way that they unfold this world, I'm like, I'm in. This is great. Because it's enough, it's close enough to our world with just like a couple things changed, and like you can still sort of feel grounded, but you're like, I could totally see like us going that way. If like if a couple things were different, that could have been the way that things unfold.
So that's how that's necessarily how it, like historically, like there's a divergence where things just go a different route, like back in like the 60s.
It's the branch timeline.
Yes.
Something
But I
different.
like it. I like it. So I know, like, I think it got a lot of hate at the beginning because they were like, this isn't who I saw the main character as. But in Fallout, you make your own character on the onset. Like for Fallout 4, at least, you made your own character, so your own avatar, as it were.
So from what I was reading, the series takes place after all of the games.
Okay.
So it's not like if you played the games, you know how the series is going to end. It's its own thing. But there's lore, and it seems like they're sticking to that lore, if not adding to it a little bit. So in the show, there are 3 storylines that we're following. So we have Lucy, who grew up in the vault, and she left the vault to go find her dad, who was stolen by this character that's Multiver.
I believe
really know. We don't know a lot about her yet, but
they're like raiders. Yes,
that's right. They were described as raiders. They took her dad, and there's probably more to that because he's a pretty well-known guy. So to have only appeared in that first episode, there's probably more going on there. The other character we follow is the Ghoul, who is played by Walton Goggins, and I'm a big fan of his from his role as Uncle Baby Billy from the Righteous Gemstones. And I think a lot of people are discovering him. He was like the #1 searched actor on IMDb this week. Everyone's like, who is this guy?
Really? I never watched The Shield or anything? He's been in so much.
I know, but all of a sudden.
So much.
Yeah. And then the other storyline is like the army faction, where we have this Maximus character who has one of those exoskeleton suits. And his story is really interesting to me. And his acting... At first, immediately when I saw him, I'm like, is that the son of a famous actor? Like, he looked like somebody. But no, he's not. He just looks like a bunch of different actors, depending on the angle you're looking at him.
Oh, okay.
And then some people don't like his acting.
No, I'm right there with you.
Do you like it?
No, I don't. I think it's
you don't like it.
It's a little too awkward for me.
Okay, but I think that's so perfect for this character.
Do you think so? Okay.
Because it's like he doesn't really know what he's doing. We keep seeing flashbacks where he's a child, so I almost feel like he has Arrested Development, where he never grew out of being a child. He doesn't know how to be. So it's totally working for me.
All right, if maybe in that case, maybe I feel like he's got like this awkward, like doesn't know, like can't identify with anything.
Yes, I think that is intentional.
Okay.
It works for me. So if you don't like him, you got 2 other storylines you can follow that I think are pretty good. So this series is great. It's already been picked up for a 2nd season. It's very twisty. Like, I want to know what's happening in the other vaults. I want to know what the motives these people have. Like, where is this world going to end up? What happened to the other countries? There's so many. There's so many stories left to tell.
It's a lot of fun. I know,
lot of fun.
you know, especially for like someone like you. I feel like these kind of stories are meant for people that have no framework for the IP itself. Like they can just jump in. They've done a very good job of just being like, all right, this is what happened. This is the world, and now let's unwrap what happened here and like why it is the way it is.
Mm-hmm. So. But at the same time, enough fan service that people, the fans of the video games, don't feel like they're rewriting history, or like there's enough for them, enough meat on the bone for them.
I wonder if they'll do a BioShock game or show at that point, because that's
now I wonder like what other video games are going to get this sort of treatment.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be a cheap show to make with all the music. Yeah, just the music budget alone. But that's part of it. It's like that 50s aesthetic. It just carries through.
Maybe a lot of that is in public domain at this point.
Oh, that's a good. I do wonder.
You know?
Yeah, that could be. No, isn't it usually like 100 years later?
Is it 100? I mean, it all depends. I think it depends on what
the content is.
Yeah,
maybe it's music or animation. Huh.
Right.
Well, that's a good question. But very good. All that's very good.
I feel like if it were more not episodic, but like week to week, I do enjoy that more. That anticipation as opposed to having it all dropped at once.
You like the new episode every week. You don't want to binge all at once.
No, I've gone past the binging.
I'm sort of surprised
in my adult life. If I had no kids, then sure, I'd be done in a night. But with the kids,
I know you only have an hour to spare. And I'm sort of surprised that companies still do this, because we've seen the comparisons between shows like Stranger Things, where they drop it all at once and then the buzz is dead in a week because everybody watched it. And it's like, is that better than having it one a week and you get 2 months worth of conversation about the show? But we're essentially watching it as if it's doing one a day, so it's a little different. But I don't know. It's interesting. I agree with you too. I wouldn't mind having it be once a week and then making it destination television, not being like, I gotta find time, or it's like, I can't do this because I want to watch. I want to be done with it. It's there. I don't want to be spoiled. I want to get through it as quickly as possible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've done a fairly good. I mean, I stay away from a lot that will spoil me. Like I went forever without being spoiled on that new Ghostbusters movie. So.
Oh, you did? You made it? You went in fresh?
I made it.
Wow.
I went in very fresh, yes.
All right. So were you the only one in the theater when you finally saw this?
No, there was a good amount of people because everyone was on vacation this past week. So
why?
We went for an afternoon show. It's school vacation.
It is school. Oh, school vacation
in Massachusetts. Yeah.
Because it was Patriots Day, the race, right? The Boston Marathon.
Right. So yeah, they don't add an extra day. They just incorporate it into a full week.
Mm. So what'd you think? What'd you think about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
I feel like it was like when people described it as a true life, like live action real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an accurate representation.
Yeah.
I feel like though that it wasn't the greatest of movies, it wasn't the greatest of Ghostbusters. I feel like the whole family was just like a bunch of squatters living in like a dilapidated firehouse.
Sure.
Like Carrie Coon had nothing to do in that movie.
Not at
except
all. No.
like schlep around, which I guess is her character. And she was like, you know what? If I'm not a Ghostbuster, I just go where I go. Like that was like her whole thing. Like she had no passion for it. She was like, well, this is over. Whatever. On to the next thing. And then I'm like looking at like the kid actors and I'm like, these are like full grown adults at this point because
Sure.
I mean, I think Phoebe's playing a 15-year-old, but you have to remember that production for this first one, Afterlife, was like in 2019 and then it was delayed.
Right.
So like 5 years have passed and this woman is playing a 15-year-old.
This woman is playing,
and she's like she's walking around in like the flight suit. She's shaped like a woman, and you're like, it's not a kid.
It's not a kid. No. Well, she got the wig.
And then Podcast. I don't know what happened to him. He got like taller and like I don't know.
Sure, that's what happens.
Incorporated the Ray hair.
So okay, I hear what you're saying. But I will still say that this is fine. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't have changed anything because there were so many characters in this world, because you had a lot of characters to begin with from that first movie. Because like Podcast and then the other girl, what's her name? Lucky.
Yeah.
They were sort of like fringe characters to begin with. So the fact that they carried them over to the next movie, that was probably like a little bit too much, but they were very minor characters in this movie.
They were interns, as it were.
Sure.
Interning. And
I thought what they did was fine. Like there was, if you were a fan of Rey, I feel like you were a fan of this movie. I feel like of the original Ghostbusters. And then Winston, he had a good portion too.
He did.
You know, they definitely made his character very important, but Rey had a lot of fun Rey stuff.
Not steal the show. Bill Murray didn't get the opportunity to steal the whole show, so yeah.
I will say that whenever Bill Murray was on screen, I was laughing so hard.
I did like that he had a little bottle like hidden in the firehouse.
That was great. The very first scene with him where he's doing the test with the Fire Master, I laughed at everything he said. I thought it worked. He's just so great. And there apparently were more scenes with him.
Oh, really?
And I don't know why they chose not to use them. Maybe it was just the movie was long enough. There's apparently a ton of footage that wasn't used, because we saw the promotional footage or the shot of Bill Murray talking to Ant-Man. What's his name?
Paul Rudd. We
saw the promotional footage of Bill Murray talking to Paul Rudd down by the containment unit, and that scene's not in the movie.
Mm-hmm. That
so
scene's
there's
not there.
We haven't
Them and all
seen.
those red coats. Those red coats didn't make an appearance.
Right, everybody on the red coat. Yeah.
Yeah.
The poor people, the poor cosplayers who spent
coats.
hundreds of dollars for these red coats that barely appear in the movie were not a big deal at all. So there was just a lot of stuff. This franchise, I feel, is much better suited to be a TV show at this point.
Yeah.
Because there are so many storylines. It's just too much for a movie.
Well, I think we are getting a cartoon at this point.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's fine. Yeah. But I feel like they could do a really good actual TV show. Because, you know, you had a ghost, but it wasn't, I mean, maybe it was going to be the end of the world. But, like, at this point, with every Marvel movie, it's like, it's the end of the world if you don't save these. And it's just too much. Like, every movie can't be that. And if you have a TV show, you don't expect that. Yeah.
No.
So I feel like it's better suited to be a TV show. So we'll see. I don't know. All the fans on Twitter are celebrating every financial milestone because they think that if it gets over X amount, it's considered a success, and then we'll get more. And I'd be fine with that. I would like to see Ghostbuster like food products pop up in stores every couple of years. Like, I have no problem with more movies. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Slimer was great for what little time he got.
Slimer was great. You know what? Slimer was good because he really kind of just played that part that he played in the cartoon, where he was just kind of there. He was hanging around. Yeah. He was causing a ruckus. It was just the deterioration of the firehouse was just like the end. I thought of the end of that first one. I thought, man, Winston's going to turn this all around. He's going to clean this place up. He's going to clean up. He kind of put like a Band-Aid on a lot of things. The car still kind of didn't work.
He put all his time into that other place.
Oh, into that like Ecto lab?
Yeah, the lab. That's where all the money went.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Some ghosts in there.
I thought that was fun too. I thought
it was
everything
fun.
Worked. Did you like the garbage bag running?
I did appreciate the.
Okay. I like that too. My wife did not like that part.
Of the garbage bag running, they made that figure. It was the pink. It was a pink gummy figure.
That's right.
It comes with Callie Spangler. She's the possessor.
That was done in practical. That was the actual person.
That's fun.
That's why it looked so good. It wasn't CGI. It was actual person running in a trash.
See that,
bag.
And that's the kind of ghost that would be in an episode of the real Ghostbusters.
That's right.
Going, taking over the vacuum cleaner or making a joke, being like, "If you're good, I'll give you a tennis ball to play with."
They possessed the Ecto-1. That was fun. The cartoon.
Yeah.
Lots of fun stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Lots of fun
It
stuff.
was just fun.
A little, yeah. So almost like too much for one movie. There was so much.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was too much. Yeah, because people are like, oh, it was good ideas, but like enough was cut that it didn't make sense how you got from point A to point B.
Oh, I don't
agree with
sense.
that. I think
it
people
makes
just
perfect
weren't
sense
willing. I think people don't understand what Ghostbusters is. Like
Yeah.
they saw the first movie. There's no way to recreate the original Ghostbusters.
No, of
It
course
was,
not.
that movie could have been anything with just those four guys, and that's what it would have been. It didn't need to be Ghostbusters. It could have been anything.
They acknowledged Ghostbusters 2, which was nice.
That's true. Yep, that is canon.
Yeah,
People were never sure if that was actually happening.
Yeah.
So okay, so still, you did you like it more than Afterlife or less?
I feel like I liked it more than Afterlife because I think the music played a little bit better, which was a big. I did not dislike Afterlife. I appreciated it. However, I feel like some of the music choices in it didn't make sense. I like that they got back to New York. I feel like New York as a character
Yes.
is a big part of the Ghostbusters. You need it. You can't just have them out in Oklahoma. Out of context there. It's kind of weird.
There were rumors it was going to be in England, and I think that's just where they filmed. But they were like,
that's a
they're
little
gonna,
odd.
it's gonna be like, nope, please don't, please.
I
don't.
really appreciated it was not so much, there was a lot of detail, and I mean, you're winning me over here in terms of me really liking it as opposed to just liking it. But thinking about it, you see in Ghostbusters 2 and then in Afterlife Ray's Occult Books, but then in this movie you get more to it. You get that there's a basement level, there's all sorts of little things here and there. The firehouse, you get to see more of the levels, you get to see the kitchen, you get to see all these fun little extra tidbits that are incorporated into the environment, the lore.
It felt like a real world. Like you could walk through these. It wasn't just a set. Like they were actually living here. There was, you'd walk down the steps to the trap or the containment unit. Now, I have a question about the containment unit. Is it only what we see, or does it extend beyond the wall? Is it like a big space?
So, in that movie, it looks like there's a large space behind the wall.
Okay, that's what I always thought.
But like spatially,
we're
not looking at it spatially. Like we look at it as we're going down, but proximity-wise, in the firehouse, like where is it? Because if you're thinking about it adjacent, the one thing, so did you know that firehouse was much larger in the past in real life?
It was a double. Yeah, it was double.
It was a double. And I feel like that was a big miss.
Yeah.
Because they do have that flashback at the beginning of the movie where it's still just the single-faced firehouse.
Someone was really mad about that. It's not historically accurate.
Oh, okay. Ugh.
I did like that.
Never mind
flashback.
then. I like it then. Never mind.
No, it's fine.
I like it.
I guess it's just
as long
like
as I can disagree with someone who doesn't like it
enough to make like that big of a change. Because
Sure.
What happened to the other half?
Oh,
Is it a
yeah.
ghost firehouse now?
Is it Mackenzie's other half? What is it? Is it Jean-Luc? Oh, I don't know.
Everything
What
has
is
to
it?
have a meaning. All
Yeah,
right, so
no thanks.
immediately after seeing it, the one plot line that I wanted to discuss with you, Phoebe's relationship with Melody.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I felt like they were just kind of like kindred spirits.
Okay.
I didn't look too much more like
You
as
didn't
like
look
a
too much more into it.
into
Okay.
it. No, I
That's
didn't
good.
see much more into it. I was more on the line of like, I mean, it always confuses me as to when there's human characters as ghosts versus the ghosts that we do get in these movies, where it's like, what the hell is Slimer then at this point?
Well, that's the thing,
right? You got
That's
this
the
girl
thing.
going around, and I mean,
Yeah.
this is kind of like Casper level weirdness, where it's like,
Yeah, very Casper. Because we saw the taxi driver, and it was like a zombie
skeleton, right?
Yeah,
right.
it's just like. Do you feel like it was out of character for Phoebe to become a ghost, or is that something that Egon would have done, where he was going to drill a hole in his head?
I feel like it would have been in character with Egon to become a ghost. So I feel like it would travel.
I think
over.
so too.
I'm sure there's
I think
many.
so, too.
There's many many episodes. There's the Murray the Mantis episode where he says he wants to open up diplomatic relationships with the ghost world by like traversing into the containment unit.
Yeah, I was fine with it. It wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't taken out of it by that. But some people were like, "This is a step too far." But I think it was fine. We were talking about spoilers earlier, and there was a big spoiler that popped up this week from the next Captain America movie, where a Hulk it will allegedly appear, not our Hulk, but a Hulk of a different color.
Yeah, they're all Hulks, right?
Yeah, I think that's just sort of like...
It's just what they call themselves.
They're, like in Half-Life, they're ghouls, and they're Hulks. And allegedly, this Hulk is the Hulk of Harrison Ford's character. Mm-hmm. So Harrison's like, I'll do this movie, but I want to be just voiceover for the majority of it. So
yeah,
maybe
put me in a suit. Put me in a suit and tie, and then that will be that, and then.
So the reason we know this is that there was a leaked photo of McDonald's toys from this movie, and these are fabric.
They look like they're fabric. They're not the bobbleheads.
They're not the bobblehead. So maybe we've seen the end of the not Funko Pops that they've done.
Oh.
Now here's the lineup. If you don't want to be spoiled, too bad. You're gonna spoiled. Now this picture is in Spanish, so these names are in some of them are in Spanish. There's the new Falcon, who is orange like an Oompa Loompa, so I'm not sure what that's supposed to be.
Okay.
There's Cascavel. Do we know who that is supposed to be?
I have no idea.
Female character? What is Cascavel in Spanish? Let's look real quick. Cascavel.
I don't know anything about
Rattlesnake? No, that's Cascavec. What is it? With a V?
What?
I don't know. So someone in Jingle Bells apparently is one of the characters.
Okay.
I can't find. Cascavel, like Carvel, but without an R. So whoever that is. It almost looks like Black Widow, but she's dead, so I don't think so. And then there's Ruth. Ruth. I don't know who Ruth is.
Not Ruth from the Ozarks, but Ruth.
No, not her. She's Silver Surfer. And then there's two Captain Americas, the Anthony Mackie version. And then there's Hulk Vermelho. Is that red? No, Roja. So what is Vermelho? Melho.
I can't tell if that Hulk has a mustache. Does that fabric little toy have a mustache? Because
oh my God, does it?
That's a big part. That's a big part of that.
I think it's just the way his mouth is open.
Oh, he's having a mustache.
So if you see it, look up closer. I don't think so. He's just a sort of like Vermelho.
Vermelho?
Vermelho. There's no English translation to that. So, yeah. So you got a lot of women. You got a Red Hulk, and you got Captain America. So I don't feel like
shield
this is
and a plane.
Oh, and the shield. That's right. I love when the equipment is a character.
Yes.
So I don't feel like this is going to be a super popular wave of McDonald's toys. Just
no.
Call it as you will, but I just don't think that this one's gonna. I feel like we're gonna be seeing these as the mystery toy for months to follow. They ran out of the real toy. Here you go. That's what you get.
Here you go.
But maybe people will take to these characters. I don't know. Fantastic Four coming soon. Did we talk about X-Men? Yeah, we talked about X-Men.
Briefly.
We talked about. Should we? Is there more to talk about with that?
No,
one?
I don't think so. I think everybody watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody watched it. We talked about that. Let me talk about AEW for a moment. AEW, say what you will about the actual product. The toys are my favorite, more so than Mattel. Ringside Collectibles is doing an exclusive Double J Jeff Jarrett. Now, Double J goes way back in the WWF and NWA before that. He's always been like one of these guys that's hung around. He was in WCW right until its deathbed. He famously held up Vince McMahon for money because his contract expired the day before pay-per-view, but he was the champion. He was the Intercontinental Champion. He had a match with China. So if he didn't show up, that match wasn't going to happen. So he held up Vince for lots of money. So because of that, Vince hated him. So when Vince bought WCW, Jarrett was not welcomed back. But then somehow Jarrett did return. In recent years, the WWF, he was in the Hall of Fame. But then something else happened. He left. He's been in AEW. He's getting a very cool exclusive. So that's exciting. Then they're doing a new wave with... let's see, Paige, who is known as Saraya, or Saraya. That's how you say it. So her first AEW figure. Ethan Page finally getting a figure. They've been talking about his figure for well over a year. I remember we did an episode when it was first announced. I don't even know if we were doing a video yet. It was so long ago. And then there's an MJF, but he's wearing the devil costume, which is just a black jacket, and then he's got the devil mask. Say what you will about AEW's figures. The way that they do these one-off costumes is impressive to me. Because it's like he only appeared like this once, but he's getting a figure. So it's like this moment in time, but it's a very unique figure instead of just doing another version of him in Trunks. So I appreciate that. So I think these look great. Pre-order them now from Ringside Collectibles. Or see them in stores in 2026. Actually, they've done a better job about getting these in stores. So who knows? AEW, not the best right now, but their toys are pretty good.
Much better than Star Wars being kicked the hell out of all targets.
Yeah, what happened there?
That's
the vintage collection? It's out of the system?
It's out of the system, but that always is the case. They just recycle a DPCI back in.
Oh, okay.
So who knows?
All right.
I know they didn't make any fans with those deluxe figures.
No.
At $27 a piece.
It's too much.
Yeah, it really is.
Spend that much. It's not.
Well,
worth
even now they're
anything.
17. Those vintage figures are $17 a head.
It's crazy. It's too much.
And it's like, who wants that?
It's like, it's not even that you can't afford it. It's just not worth it.
No, it's not. Especially if
And
it's just going to hang up on my wall.
Right. Yeah. Something has to happen.
Something's got to break.
Well, let's finish with this. Nacelle is doing Cowboys of Moo Mesa. We talked at length about this, but we got some new photos this week of 3 of the characters, and I will say that I love the different sizes of these characters. Like, the scaling is very good. You have that huge figure, the sheriff that was announced on the cover of the toy magazine, and then you have one of the cowboys, but then you have one of the female cowboys, and she, I was saying that the designs of the female the characters on the show are like too human. And they faithfully recreated that with this figure, so it's horrifying to look at.
Are these just renders, or
these are renders? These are renders. Okay. Yeah, these are renders, but they come with a ton of accessories, alternate head. Are they up for pre-order? Is it a Kickstarter? What's the deal here?
No, they must be up.
Going live April 23rd. So
what's the price?
Well, that's what I want to know. So let me click through this. It's not. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is. They're not on the site yet, but they have. Oh, on the site, the Legends of Laughter are marked down to $18 each if you want those.
Oh.
Not Joan Rivers, though. I think she's sold out. Maybe you can get her in the bundle. So we don't know how much they're going to cost. The Biker Mice from Mars were $35 each.
Okay.
So I feel like these have to cost more than that. There's more to them, especially that large figure.
They can come in under Super 7 Ultimate's cost. I think they'll win there.
If they're under 55, I think that's a winning formula. So those honestly look really good. I don't have that connection to Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
I don't either. No,
yeah, so if I did, like if this was essentially like Ninja Turtles or something, these are great. These look great. So now I'm kind of hoping Nacelle gets the license for something I actually care about, because these toys look really good. I don't know what that would be at this point. Everything's been done. But
Savage Mondo Blitzers.
Is that the interchangeable characters?
No.
What were
Remember Savage Mondo Blitzers? They were the little like.
Oh, and the little
one is
skateboards or whatever.
Skateboard, yeah.
I don't think I got into those. I didn't like anything with wheels. I didn't like anything that was a car.
I got into those. They were as far away from cars as possible. The closest thing they had was the wheels. They had wheels.
They were wheels.
Yeah.
Everything was like a Hot Wheels.
They were so great, though.
No.
Okay.
Z-Bots. Oh, you know what I want them to do? Army Ants. Yeah.
Army Ants would be fun.
Army Ants. There we go. No one ever talks about Army Ants. We got Foo
No one ever
Fighters. We got
does.
Barnyard Commandos again. Give us Army Ants. Come on. Make them real jacked up, but still the squishy ant.
Yeah,
part
it's like a
of their tail.
giant bulbous
You clear your tongue.
tail there.
You clear on your tongue because it like suctions.
Right.
Yeah, that was the best part of those. Yeah. So if you ever buy those secondhand, just know that the part of it was in somebody's mouth. 100%.
Yeah, you
100%.
100%. Oh yeah,
100% somebody had that in their mouth. That's why all of my Ninja Turtle weapons have chew marks. I don't know why that's so universal that we had to chew on those weapons, but it is what it is. All right, Bill, anything else for this big week?
No, I can't think of anything.
All right.
No.
All right, everybody. Well, you know what we say. We don't want to grow up, but we already did. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
I still wanna be a toy.